Welcome back to my second video of HTML. I recommend, if you haven't seen my first video, to go over it first, since this video will be built off of it. For the rest of my videos, I am going to try to keep a script off to the side. That way you can read it if you aren't in a position to listen to my voice, or you don't have your headphones on you or whatever. So we will start off today with templates. So I know I mentioned them in the last video. Templates are useful for websites that have a lot of pages, but many of the pages look similar. That way you can set up a template with basic coding and change it for the different pages. And you guys will kind of see what I mean as I go along with this episode. As we progress through the season, you'll see me use templates more often. So we will just open up a notepad and make a basic template. Make a basic template that we will use to make a lot of our pages throughout the season. So it's going to be really just kind of what you need to make a web page. And so you open the head, title, we're going to open that inside the head, and then close the title, and then close the head, open up the body, close the body, and close the HTML document. And so we'll just put in a title that says templates, and type coding here, and that's pretty much all you need for a basic template. Again, we'll go through it more, and you'll see me do a lot more stuff in the template for like more specific things, of course, but we'll get to that as we move along. I'll save it as template.html. Alright, and so you open it up. Sorry, I have dual screens. And this is what it looks like. So it's pretty simple. It's this template up here, and I did make a small mistake over here. I'll show you how to correct it. Right here, I didn't close my HTML tag. It's a small thing, but when you do more and more stuff in your coding, those differences will really add up. So now that we've created our template, we will move on to more tags and additions to tags we learned in the last video. So open up practice.html that we worked on in the first video. Yes. So we're going to open up practice.html that we worked on in the first video. If you don't have it, I recommend you watch the first video and go grab the coding. And remember, guys, you don't really want to open it with Word like I just did. I have the default program changed to the second. For the purpose of the video, I'm not going to change the default right now, but I need to do that for the next video. We will next insert a horizontal rule under the marquees. And remember, the marquees in the last video were the text that actually scrolled across the screen. So right here we have both the marquees, and we'll insert a horizontal rule, which looks like this. It's pretty simple. And basically a horizontal rule is just going to put a little bar across the page. As soon as it loads, see this little white bar under the picture and the text is a horizontal rule. And you can use it for separating things and so on. So now we'll insert a heading that we talked. We're going to put in a heading 2, H2, that we talked about. That way you guys can actually use an H2. instead of just H1, and we'll do that right under the horizontal rule. We'll do H2. What are we going to say? H2 practice HTML document. And so, with this addition, blah blah blah, like this. So save, open up. We go practice HTML document. So now we will create a paragraph. Most people might say, why aren't we just using the H1, H2 through H5 tags to create the paragraph? And that's because those are preset fonts that are kind of big, and we're going to want to use just a regular font that you'd normally read a paragraph at, and that is the P tag. So we'll just open up this, and I'm going to type in some stuff. Sorry, I can't make the paragraph more interesting. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Okay, so remember to close your paragraph tag. If you forget it now, it's not going to be a big deal. But when you start doing more and more stuff, forgetting the paragraph tag will be one of those really annoying mistakes that you could make. And so we'll save the page, and I kept it open. We'll refresh, and we have this little, not really a paragraph, but 2 sentences, or actually 1 sentence. I didn't even put that much effort into it. So that's that. And like any tag, you have to remember to close it. So now we might want to bold the word YouTube. We would use the bold tag, which is B, and we would go into this little paragraph, and we would find YouTube and open up the bold tag before the word YouTube, which is B, and then you close afterwards. That way the rest of the paragraph isn't bolded. And then update. And I am really stupid. Gotta wait for it to load again. Okay. So as you can see, the actual word YouTube is just a little bit bigger, bolded. And I have to move fast, we're running low on time. Now we might want to underline the word online. So we would go to online, find the word, and the underline tag is U. And then of course we'd close just like the bold tag and update, which is covered by this little thing. And online is now underlined. So now we are going to try italicize this guy. Just so you know how to use the italicize tag. It's just like the underline and the bold and every other tag that we will end up doing. So we would go into the paragraph and we'd find this guy, and we will use the tag I before and then close afterwards. and update it. And I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but it says this guy and it's italicized now. So, but what if we want everything after YouTube to be on the next line? We can just hit enter. Or can we? No, we have to use the break rule because, again, this isn't a regular document, it's an HTML document. So a break rule just breaks the page. It kind of breaks the paragraph. And that's one of the useful things about using the P tag instead of the heading tag or whatever. So we'll find YouTube and we will do break. BR \tag. So this is a rare exception tag that doesn't require being opened and closed in separate tags like HR is also one of them. If you notice, I never actually close my HR tag because it is one of the tags that have a little exception in it, just like the break rule. Because as you can tell, when I use the break rule, I'm only doing this. I'm not closing it like I did with the B. I opened and closed one. I just put the tag in. And this is one of the ones where you can do that. So I'll show you what the break rule looks like. And it throws this line down on the next line, just like that. So, the next tag we will go over is font color. In the last video I showed you that you could use BG color or a background color to change the background color. I didn't mention that HTML has its own color codes. I would recommend using a website called Computer Hope to find the color code you would like to use, but we will change the font color to blue just so you can see it and you know how to do it and you can find the color codes and do all that stuff yourself. So we'll start off with the tag font before the text. We would, sorry, that was my cell phone. So we will start off with the tag font before the text, which is, we can put it in right here. We do font. And we would close the font down here. And inside the font tag we will put color equals blue. Because font is a tag with multiple different additions. This is one of them. Now whenever you put something after, I think I've said this before, whenever you put something after an equal sign in HTML, you always put it in quotations. So I'll show you what it looks like real fast before I move on to the next thing and get ahead of myself. Try to move really fast, guys. So as you can see, the text has changed. So this leads us to our next font addition, face. Font face controls what you would normally consider a font, the type. Like if you were in Microsoft Word, you would select Times New Roman or Cambry, or there's 100,000 of them, honestly. And it just works like font color. So we would go up to where just the same tag that we use for font color, right after the color, blue, and the quotations, we're going to put in face, and I already picked out the font face. We're going to use script, and then save, and update. And as you can see, the font is really small and not really readable at all. So I want to recommend using this one for your website, but it is one you can use, and it is a font face. A good place to find font faces are on this website, ilovethisplace.com/webdesignfonts. So yeah, type that in and you can find a bunch of font faces, or if you don't want to type that in, just go to Google and type in HTML font faces and you'll get all kinds of stuff. So now we are going to mess with images again. This edition is the width and the height and alt. First, let's mess with alt. Alt controls the text that displays when your mouse hovers over the image and you use it like this. We'll put it under the link for Google. So first we're going to open up another image of that. Whatever you guys are using, it doesn't really matter. I'm just using the same image because I don't have to check the name of the image or anything. It's just easier this way. So alt controls the text that displays when your mouse hovers over the image and you use it like this. Sorry guys, my script is not... There we go. So I've definitely gotten creative with my example on the script where it says blah pic. I'll go ahead and use that since it's just text, it doesn't matter. So we'll update that. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but when I hover over this image now, it has blah pic. So once again, it's a lot like other stuff we have done. We have gone over in HTML, so let's do the height and the width. And it's pretty simple. The height and the width just adds on, just like every other edition we worked with. And we're going to change it to 100 pixels wide and 100 pixels tall. Remember that if you just put a number in there, it's going to be, the computer is going to assume that it's pixels. Because that's how HTML works. And as you can see, the image got smaller. So I already went over that. Now, pixels aren't really the best for a lot of websites because computer screens have different orientations, and some people use their TVs as computer monitors, so that messes up the whole pixel thing, and it won't look good on every computer. It will only look good on the computer that you made it on. So sometimes the best choice is to use a percent instead of pixels. So we'll just, it's pretty easy. All you're really doing is changing from pixels to percent. So we're going to do 20% wide and 50% tall. And this should be in relation on the screen. So this picture might be pretty good. So yeah, of course it's stretched out and weird looking. But that's okay for this video. So that's all I have to cover in this video. I think I went over my time by a little bit, guys. I hope this helps. If you had any problems with the coding, do not be discouraged. Coding takes a lot of attention to the details. One wrong keystroke could make your entire page look different. And it could take you hours just to find out that, hey, you typed in a T instead of a Y. You know, it's not easy, guys. So keep working on it and don't be afraid to start fresh if you can't find your mistake. Sometimes it really is just that extra O that you just can't find for some reason. Sometimes it's just easier to start fresh. So please rate and subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time.